This is the Theme Park Loopy Podcast.
Talking of TripAdvisor reviews, Flamingo Land's been getting some pretty bad ones recently. And it looks like, according to the news, that Flamingo Land has been voted the UK's worst theme park. So I'll give my opinion in a bit, but Dan, what do you think about this? Do you think Flamingo Land, as your local park, I would say, and the park that you fly over sometimes, is it the UK's worst theme park? Although before you answer that, can we just say that, to be fair, we shouldn't really label any theme park as being the worst, because they're all different, they've all got something to offer. But within the context of this conversation, because that's what's been said, let's find out whether we think it really is the worst or not.
Yeah. And when you say it's my local theme park, is Flamingo Land really anyone's local theme park? Bearing in mind that it's local, like hubs of civilization. In fact, let's think. It's near Malton, it's near Pickering, and it's kind of near Scarborough. So the
You can
population.
get the coastliner. You can get the coastliner there. You can get there. It's off. Don't you remember the old Flamingo Land adverts? Like Flamingo Land, and then it'd be like, oh, just off the Malton and Pickering bypass.
Yeah,
Don't you
right.
remember that? Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I do. These are key childhood moments for me. But no, I think basically it's well harsh to label it the worst theme park. I think there's a few reasons why. One, it's not owned by a massive company with an infinite budget. It's in the middle of, it's just off like the North Yorkshire moors. It's pretty much in the middle of nowhere compared to a lot of the major theme parks around the country. And it's trying to do a lot of things. Like it's got a bit of a zoo. It's got theme park rides. It's got like a large area where people can stay and set up camp for a while. I think it's probably getting a bit of flack because it's not particularly great at any one thing, but it does a lot of things. It appeals to families. I went there with young children, very young children. When my son was born, we went there because we knew there'd be a lot of things we could just walk around and point at things, and there'd be stuff that we could all enjoy. We've had some really good times there, and like they are actively investing. Like they've built a good roller coaster. I think it was it launched 2022? I can't remember. So is it Sick? Is that? I can't even remember what its name is.
Sick. Yeah, is it Sick? It's Sick, isn't it? That's how it's pronounced, I think. Yeah. It's a clothing brand, I believe.
You know what? Actually, I'm going to veto everyone's opinion about the fact that it's not the worst theme park in the world. That ride name alone and theme is enough. Sorry, I'll put the rest of my opinion in later. Carry on.
It's a really weird one. Like because I think on the podcast we'd been saying for ages it was going to be called Inversion, but the I and the O was going to be a 10, and that's what was going to make the most sense, and it would make sense because Flamingo Land always go with that. It's always velocity or whatever, so they normally have very literal names, don't they, some of the rides that they have. Same version, but I reckon this clothing brand came in and said, you know what, we could name it this, and they went, yeah, let's do that. And the station inside is kind of crazy. It's like a sort of mad like warehouse with all these like big flags and stuff. So I don't know, it's a weird one, but I mean it's it's a 10 inversion coaster just off the North York moors. You can't go wrong, can you, really?
Exactly. And like I will grant, I'll grant that some of the rides, they're not world class. Some of them, like Hero, might be a little bit controversial. They might rattle you about, give you a headache, but I still go on it every single time because it's there and there's you gotta do it. But like I think it's a fun theme park. I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with it. It's not it's not cheap, but it's not the most expensive out there. I think it's good for what it is. It's a good theme park in my opinion.